Now we're going to go over iWatchr settings. To access iWatchr settings, make sure you exit out of the application so you're at your device's home screen where all your apps are. Open up the regular settings application and scroll down till you see a list of applications from the App Store that you have installed on your device with a settings part. Find iWatchr and select it. This will bring you to all of iWatchr settings. As you can see, iWatchr has a lot of good settings that you could change to your liking. Let's go over some of these settings. The first one here is the total score badge. This is the little red circle on the icon on the home screen. This can display points used or points remaining depending on what you have this set to here in display. So right now we have it set to total used. Let's turn that screen on. Let's exit out of that, open up iWatchr. You'll see we have a today log with 11 points. Now when we leave our application, the icon on the home screen will display how many points we've had used or had remaining. If we go back into settings and we go to iWatchr, we could change this total used display to total left. So that way this badge will display how much we have remaining. Remember though that if you're going to use this, to make sure you set a daily score allowance so that it knows what to calculate against. So if we're going to use total left, let's make sure we put a number here. Let's put in 20. If we leave the application, next time that you use iWatchr, you'll see that all the numbers have changed here for total points because now we are displaying what's remaining instead of what's used. Let's look at today. In the today log, we have 13 points used, plus we gained 2 bonus points. So if you calculate that in with the 20 daily allowed, you have 9 points left. And again, you can quickly reference this by hitting the little info button here to see. The daily point total is presently set to 20, and it displays amount remaining. Now that you have it set to remaining, let's exit out of the application, and you'll see that the badge has changed as well. It now is displaying how many points you have remaining. Note though that if you are going to use remaining, this icon here cannot display negative numbers. If you were to go over your daily allowance, in this case we have it set to 20, if we were to say have 22 points for today, this badge would not show -2, it just would be off. Unfortunately, these cannot display negative numbers. Let's go back into settings. Now under the history log, you have your daily score set. Then you have this decimal rounding switch. This is to have decimals being displayed when doing all your number calculations in the log. So if we were to turn that on, go back into iWatchr, you'll see that everything has decimal points now. And if you like using decimal points to have a more precise number, then this would be a good feature for you. As you can see, if we were to use foods, and use a decimal score as a point value, iWatchr gives you more precise numbers. Let's exit out of the application again. Below that we have the extra score feature. This is a weekly or bi-weekly feature that gives you a certain amount of points for that time period that you're allowed to go over. This is on top of your daily score allowed. So if you would like to use this feature, just simply turn it on. Note though that the day that it starts to record from is the day that it's turned on. Today is a Saturday, but if you want it to start on a different day, say Wednesday, leave this feature turned off until Wednesday comes. Once Wednesday comes, then you could turn the feature on, set it up how you'd like, weekly or bi-weekly from the day it's turned on, and also a number that you're going to allow yourself each week. For this example, let's make it 35. Just to make things a little easier to follow, I'm going to turn off the decimals option for the log so that everything will be in the whole numbers. Once you have all that set up, let's exit out of the settings and open up iWatchr. Days in red are past days and don't count towards this week's calculations, days in blue do count towards this week's extra points. If we were to open up today's log, you'll see now that the extra points feature has a number here representing how much you're allowed each week or bi-week, depending on what you have it set to. It's hit this little info button, and now we have a little more information since the extra score feature has been turned on. It tells you what it's set to, when it resets, and when the actual next reset will be. So for this instance, it'll be July 11th, which is 7 days away. And it tells you your daily point total. The way that the extra feature works is that when you go over your daily allowance, it withdraws from this amount. So our daily allowance is set to 20. Let's say we go over that 20. Here we have 24 points used, but we had 2 bonus points. So that equals 22 total used. Our daily allowance is 20, so we've gone over by 2 points. That 2 points gets drawn from the 35 extra points, which is now down to 33. You can replenish these extra points by doing exercise points, but the exercise has to be done that day. See, we already have 2 bonus points. Say we got a little bit more of exercise in for this day, and we earned another 3 bonus points. We add that into the mix. Notice we got our 2 points back for the extra points. We're back to 35. And this, we're back in the green to show that we're not over. Now let's delete these bonus points for a second. As of this example, we're over by 4 points. So that means we only have 31 extra points left. Let's exit this log, and I'm going to put the date on my computer a few days forward so we can add new days. That way you can see how the missed days feature works as well. So it's July 4th. I'm just going to put it the next day, July 5th. Now when I reopen iWatchr, I'll be able to add a new day. As you see, this new day has been added in blue because we are still in our current week. And yesterday is still blue as well. Remember from yesterday, we went over by 4 points, we have 31 left. And you saw that when we added bonus points for that day, we received them back. Let's go to the next day and go over. I'm going to just do it in one food item, but say our total food items for this day equaled 25. We went over by 5 points. Taking 5 points from the 31 we had left, we're now down to 26 extra points. But let's say this day we did a lot of exercise and we earned 8 exercise points. When we add that in, notice the extra points only went back up the amount that we were over for the total used. Even though we earned 8 and we're plus 3 on the daily allowance, the extra points only went back up to the way they were when the day started. You won't be able to get these 4 extra points back because they were from the previous day going over. So that's what I mean when I say exercise points can replenish extra points, but only the day that the exercise was done. You can't do exercise the following day to try to make up for extra points you lost the day before.